Hello creatives, welcome to a Kid Called Beast Maker session. In this session, we have Miguel, and today we're diving into Voxel VRM. Here's an example of what we're making today. Let's get started.
So, in this case, I'm going to be showing how to rig and export a voxel avatar as a VRM file. I have here this speed piece that it's made in separate parts. This is obviously not the only way to do it, the way that I'm going to show, but it's a cool way because when you do with separate parts, you can later easier conjugate with other parts, so you can combine traits and everything that you already have done. And also you can make the avatars in VoxEdit or make them in megavoxels, Magica Voxel, and then bring it back to the VoxEdit in case you want to use it in Sandbox, or in case that you made avatars in Sandbox, thinking of Sandbox, you can always just come here and export as Vox, and then assemble them here in Magica Voxel. So once you have your avatar assembled, you can now export them as OBJ. Just gonna throw them there. Then we come back to Blender. Then we go to Blender, a new project, and we start to import the different pieces. I don't know if so far anyone has any question. If yes, just let me know. I'm not checking the chat. I don't know if anyone wrote something there, but if at any point you need me to stop or go back, just let me know.
Yeah, no questions yet.
Alright, so then we have all the separate files here. We're gonna have to import them one by one. There's the leg. I named them in Magica already. Here you can see in the layers that I named them, so it's easier than to rig, and this looks more professional anyway. And then yeah, it's just gonna now import all of them. It's gonna be a bit boring now. Bear with me.
Hello creatives, welcome to a Kid Called Beast Maker session. In this session, we have Alexi, and today we're diving into Flying Basics Part 2. Here's an example of what we are making today. Let's get started.
For some reason, it's missing my left eye, or maybe I'm blind. It's because I wrote it 2 times. Yeah, I wrote here right eye, somehow it messed up. Well, in this case doesn't really matter too much because you can just duplicate it. In case that it's not, if you have a piece that you cannot just duplicate it like I did, you have to make sure that this is well written. So in this case, this should be here written left eye instead of right eye left eye, because that's what messed it up later to import it to Blender. But in this situation it's an easy fix. Just do it like this. There you go. And then I'm gonna rename this one here in Blender. Alright, so now that we have it here, we want to rig it as a VRM, because VRM it's just so much more versatile in terms of the platforms that you can take it to. Even if it's not VR ready, it's the fact that it's a VRM file makes it ready for much more platforms. So it's always cool to do that. And later on, even if you know, if you have the VRM, you can just later export to a GLB or FBX, so it's all good. So for this to make a VRM in Blender, you're gonna need an add-on. I'm assuming that most of you already have, but if you don't, I can share the add-on. And then yeah, you know, come to the preferences add-on, you look for VRM, and you import it, and then you're gonna have this here. You can create a VRM, and yeah, we'll go through it after. So now that we have the armature here, I'm gonna like start to adjust it to the model. For this, I usually prefer this grid mode, and I start to adjust this armature to the beat beast. It looks good to me. Maybe I'll make it a little bit. Oh, okay, actually, I'll put it back because it's always good to make them a bit, not so much. Okay, whatever. Maybe that's as much. Yeah. Because if not, they are gonna look too separate later. So now, going back, yeah, I like to keep this these balls here in the middle. So this is something that usually it comes with a bit of testing, so you're gonna do that in the way that makes more sense to you, obviously, and to the avatar you have. This is my personal way of doing this, but everybody's gonna like, this is just like about the details, and later you are gonna test it in the game or Nifty Island or Hyperfy or any other thing, and you're gonna be like, okay, maybe I should move this a bit more here or a bit more up or whatever. Also, in this case, I'm not gonna need the fingers, so I can get rid of those extra bones already. There's also the eyes that I'm not, oops, not gonna need the eyes. Okay, so in the hands it's a bit tricky because sometimes depending on the platform it is, if you don't have the whole fingers and everything, it's gonna be a bit more like, for example, the sword in Nifty, if you leave the hand here, it will probably look like it's grabbing it here or here. So for Nifty specifically, when I do this, when I don't make the avatar have fingers, I put it more or less here, around here. Something like this. So the weapon will be more or less here. Okay, so just check here. Okay. So now we can start to rig it. It's pretty simple, this part. You just you can select all of them and select select all of them. Select armature. Control P and empty groups. Okay, so now they are all linked to the armature, and you are gonna now make the weight paint to each part. And this is pretty easy because you are not gonna have to, do the traditional weight paint where you have to consider so many movements. Since this is all separate parts and this is a voxel avatar, it's supposed to be like looking blocky, like the sandbox ones are. So you just literally do full on. So the head, go for the head, and you just make it like that. Choose the arm. You're gonna do this for every part. Try to don't make the same mistake that I do many times. That it's to like I instead of doing this to the lower arm, I would do to the lower arm right. I would do to the lower arm left, and then when I'm testing, stuff are like flying around, which is funny, but it's not what we want in the end. So just pay attention to this. So in this case, my avatar has chest and has hips, but this is because it was made out of a small yeah, sure, out of a small humanoid from the templates. That's the template that I used to begin with, which somehow now it's not appearing here on the templates. But yeah, it's a small humanoid. It could be a bigger humanoid. I think this one has 3 parts. I don't love working with VoxEdit because it's just so slow, at least on my computer. While Magica and Blender are so smooth, both of them. And yeah, this just takes everything forever. But it's a lot of animations that are being processed. It's a very different way. Yeah. Well, anyway, my point is that in many cases, the avatar could have the extra body part here in the middle, which would be the spine. So if you have just two body parts for chest, for the body, you have the hips and the chest, but you could also have the spine in the middle. So yeah, here it's the hips. I was about to do shit. Okay, I think it's good. I'm gonna test it now with pose mode. Yeah. Oh, okay, the hand is a bit to adjust that. Oops. Put this tip here. We'll put there. My bad. Okay, better. So now there is some adjustments that we can still make to the model. For example, here the shoes. You can see that I made them like this because in Magica, if I would make them, you know, like basically like this, they would be too big. They would be touching each other. So both in VoxEdit you can you can adjust this, and as well in Blender, right? So it's just some tiny adjustments. right, so once you do that, it's gonna appear all of it ready here. Because when you have, for example, a model that is a GLB, right, you are gonna to export as a VRM. He asks you to do that, but when you do it as a VRM, it straight away comes here. And then on the meta, you can put here the title, version, author, all of this information. If you, for example, upload to some platforms, it is maybe automatically work, so you can leave whatever permissions you feel like, or the license or anything. If you leave this undefined, every time someone imports, it's gonna appear some warning saying that the permission is undefined. Are you sure that you have permission? So you leave it like this. It makes it look a bit more intimidating sometimes. And then for the thumbnail, yeah, you can just add a new picture and edit for the thumbnail. In terms of texturing, this was made in Magica Voxel, so they all share the same palette, which is a really close image. It's this thin file, and you'll see that each color is going to be represented by a dot. And in this case, the avatar, for example, has 1544 triangles, so it's pretty low. So I think it's pretty fine to leave it like this. But in cases that you make like a super complex avatar, it's probably for the best that you would bake the texture, there is different ways to make an optimized UV texture for a voxel avatar, and I can go through that in a future session. But in this case, it's pretty like, yes, this geometry doesn't have to be like this. It could be more optimized. It could be literally much less triangles, but it makes the process much easier, and it also gives you some options, such as you can easily change the colors, right? If you want to, if you already made, I don't know, like you have the t-shirts, you want to change the color, right? It's pretty easy if you have it like this. And you can also, yeah, play a bit with the geometry in case that you want to make some blend shapes or some other stuff. It's quite interesting what you can do. You can use a lot this technique to do things that you wouldn't be able to do with the more optimized UV. So for this case, if the avatars are not like super complex, and if for the most platforms they're gonna be good to go, I would prefer this way. It's also easier to later make emissions, because you just need to select a color. For example, let's say now, for example, I want to make this emissive. Just come here, I press Shift H, press P. Just a little note. I press Shift H here on this side, and I press P on this side. It's slow. Okay, worked. And now, okay, you can just create a new texture, whatever it is, material, and make it yellow. Oh, okay, I messed up. Let me go back. it's better to have it all. So you press 3 to have faces. Select all the faces. Yeah, I think now should be fine, because I think before it didn't grab all the faces. But anyway, you see my point, right? Even though I'm having an awkward problem, which I guess we just come here and select this. And we gather them. Sorry, then we join them. Control J. Just remove this one. Actually, it was the other one, but whatever. Yeah. Here we go. Okay. So now you can make this emissive. You have to change both the base color. Maybe that's too much. And have a better idea of how much it glows if you select here bloom. So yeah, it's pretty easy thing to do, or to now change the color of the skin or anything, because actually I'm just noticing that the skin doesn't match, right? This color doesn't match with this one. Okay, so, but still we have here, this is all separate, and we don't want this all separate. I mean, you can have them now. You can save this as a file, so you can later like be able to easily export it and whatnot, and sorry, to combine it with other body parts that you have. That's what I meant. But for each avatar, you're gonna always want to export it as a one piece, as a whole. And you're gonna have, even though it's the same palette, it duplicates. It makes all this one. So you don't want this, all of this. You just you can either just assemble all of them to the same, or you could join them straight away. So now you press Ctrl J, and then you just erase all of them, and you are good. Yeah, and then you join the one with emission also, and you have your palette and your material. The less materials it has, the most optimized it is. So also consider that. Don't if you make things with emission, too many things with emission, it might be better for you to use the palette to make emission rather than do the emission with the material, because then you may end up having many materials. But in this case, it's the same because I'm just using one, so I would use one either way. But let's say that now I had another key with another color, maybe I would use the same texture for the emission, not use two different ones. What else can I say? So from here, you pretty much just have to go and test it. Let's export to see how this go. How this went. I'm not sure if I missed something. It's just had the feeling. Okay. So, oh, find this one.
Hello creatives, welcome to a
Actually,
Kid Cool
just
Beast Maker session.
before
In this
going to
session we
test
have
it,
Alexi, and today we're
because of
diving
this
into
little
Flying
thing that
Basics
I was
Part
saying
2.
about the.
Here's an
So
example of
you
what we're
see
making
here, this
today.
brown,
Let's get
it's not the
started.
same as this one. So you could just fix that. by putting this one, the color of that color of this color. So it makes more sense. Yes, we could go like that. Yeah, so I have a feeling I'm missing something, but yeah, again, in case you need me to explain something better, just let me know. And yeah, we are gonna export it again. And now, can you see my screen? Can you see the Brave? I'm getting Hyperfy now.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, cool. So it's gonna. I like Hyperfy. I like to test things in Hyperfy first, just because it's pretty fast. Just oops, I see problems already. So here we can straight away see what's going on. Oh, so the bonds are too big. Yeah, okay, that's what I missed. Okay, just for fun, let's see what happens. Yeah, so I forgot to scale it, and clearly there is some issues here that I need to address. All right, so that's why I like to use Hyperfy, because you just do it so fast, and then like then you can just come back to fix it, and then if something, put it on the other platform like Nifty, for example, then you test it there, because it's gonna look different in Nifty and in Hyperfy definitely. So I have to come back, and this is why I like to keep a file with the separate. Yeah, I fucked up already. With the separate members, because later you are fucked. So I think I actually have this one already all fixed up. Let's look at that. So yeah, to don't happen what just happened to me now. It's always better to export one version with the avatar with all the bodies separate, all the body parts separately, and then you keep working on it and testing, because yeah, like so what I usually do is I finish, I have all the separate parts rigged and everything, I export it, and then I join them, I clean up this extra palette, and then I export it again as a whole, and then if there is a mistake, you can go back. Let me see if I have that one specifically. I think I do. I already rigged it. Oh, okay. You know, I don't want to bore you with this like, because I think it doesn't add up much. If I now show you specifically that one, important thing is that you keep, like I said, the two separate files. Still. So do you guys have any question about this? Anything that you would like to know that I didn't mention?
If you have any questions, you guys can write in the chat, but I don't see any right now.
Okay. Oh, here's your BP stream.
So cute.
Yeah, Well, that's pretty much it. Like there is definitely other ways to rig voxel avatars, like I was saying. This one it's practical because you can always go back to the giant one to the yeah, you can always go back to sandbox if you want to use it there for some reason, or if you have been doing avatars in sandbox or box edit and you want to use them as VRMs and use them literally in every platform, not only sandbox. This is a pretty easy way to do it. And yeah, I think that's it, guys. In another session, I can go a bit more through the like how to optimize or how to add some extra tricks. The things that I was showing you, you are always gonna have to be going a bit back and forward with testing, because sometimes just because of how the character it's created, right? It's like some if the arms are all green or just one color, it's probably gonna glitch less. But if there is like a big pattern, there is gonna be some other issues to address. So you might have to adjust a bit the armature. So it's always gonna be a bit like testing and going back to these small adjustments with armature. And yeah, like to avoid this problem that I just had, always first export separately, so that and then join all the parts and export again for you to do the testing. And once you do that, so in this case you can see that all the it's all perfect. Has one draw call because it doesn't have any emission, so it's just one texture. This one has a bit more triangles than the other one that I showed you because it has the stripes, and so it makes it have more triangles because the painting it's geometry in this case. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
And that's a wrap. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content. See you in our next maker session.